What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the first video of 2022. As of the beginning of this year, the end of last year, I guess is a better reference, kind of as of the making of this video, I am at about 9,200 and some odd followers on Spotify. I had this plan to get to about 10,000 followers on Spotify and then switch up my ad game a little bit and start prioritizing growth in more specific markets. But because it's the new year and because we're starting kind of with a clean slate at the beginning of January, I thought rather than waiting until 10K on Spotify, I'd go ahead and make that change now. About halfway through December, I started testing a new growth campaign, not a new ad set inside of my Spotify growth campaign, but a new Spotify growth campaign altogether. So today we're going to dig into this new campaign. We're going to take a look at how I've set it up and what I've tested and optimized so far, and then talk about how I'm going to utilize this strategy for 2022 to hopefully see numbers that are similar to the growth I experienced on Spotify in 2021. Now, if you're new here, my name's Tom, and on this channel, we talk about music marketing, branding, NFTs, and more. Everything we need to know to move from making music as a hobby to making music as a business. And today, we're going to take a look at Facebook ads and look at this new growth strategy that I've been testing for just under a month now. So let's dig into it. So as I said in the intro of this video, I started a brand new Spotify growth campaign. Everything I have changed, adjusted, and tested in 2021 has happened inside of the same Spotify growth campaign. In fact, I started running that campaign in 2020, so it ran for even longer than 365 days. But because I wanted to test a bunch of different stuff in December against my existing growth campaign, I decided to start a new campaign to test those things, and I plan to just kind of turn it off if it failed, but keep it going if it worked. Now, fortunately, it worked, so I kept it going. And as of January 1st, 2022, I turned off my growth campaign from 2021. So this is my new Spotify growth campaign. As you can see, the title is Spotify Growth 2022. And again, just like last year, I'm spending $10 a day, no more, no less, like clockwork. The stats right now are populated for the lifetime of this campaign so far, which I started on December 11th, 2021. So let's just get an overview so far of what's happening. So I've had 1,160 views content and an average cost of 16 cents per view content. Now that may seem a little bit high compared to some of the numbers I had last year, but there's a reason for that, and we'll get into it. If we scroll over here, we can see also that the click-through rate is on average 1.15% for this growth campaign. Now, if we compare that to the numbers from last year's Spotify growth campaign, you can see that that campaign averaged for its entire lifespan 0.63% for click-through rate. So we're going to go back to narrowing this down and just take a look at our new growth campaign. So let's click through to the ad set level. And then we'll open it back up again. So I have 3 ad sets currently running and 2 that I have tested previously. Now, last year, I just targeted every Spotify territory. I eventually started to narrow in on the countries that were working best based on my results in Spotify for Artists, narrowing it down to 30 countries and then narrowing it down as low as 10 towards the end of the year. But now I've tightened it up even further. I started out with these 3 ad sets here, one for the US, one for the UK, and one for the top 5. Now, top 5 is the top 5 countries where my music has been getting listened to on Spotify for Artists without the US and the UK in there. So if we go to Spotify for Artists and we go down here to my countries breakdown, you can see that my top 5 countries are Russia, US, Ukraine, Brazil, and the UK. So I pulled the US and the UK out of that and then added in Mexico and Turkey to round it out for 5 total countries. So that's what this top 5 was targeting. And then I also ran the UK, just an ad set targeting the UK, and then an ad set targeting just the US. This year, I want to be really intentional about growing specifically in the United States because that's where I'm from. And then in English-speaking countries at large, because I speak English and my music is in English. So last year, I was not particular about where I found listeners. This year, I want to find listeners in countries that speak the native language of my songs. So I started out with these 3. And in the top 5, we have Russia, Turkey, Ukraine, Brazil, and Mexico, as I said, from Spotify for Artists. But in this ad set, Russia was dominating, kind of dominated a lot last year. I got a lot of traffic, a lot of love from Russia. So thank you guys for that. Because I didn't want to prioritize growing in Russia, because I had a lot of followers on Spotify from there already, I pulled Russia out and I got rid of this ad set. And instead, I added this top 4 ad set. But then I also didn't get a whole lot of traffic from the UK with this UK only ad set. Where you at, UK? So I turned that one off, and now we are at this ad set that has the UK, Canada, and Australia in it. So I've got one ad set for the United States, one ad set for 3 other big English-speaking countries, and then a third ad set for the top 4, Ukraine, Brazil, Mexico, and Turkey. So if we narrow back in on the ones that are active right now, we'll take a look at some of these results for the current ad sets that I have going right now. Since the inception of this campaign, I have got the US with the highest amount of conversions at 472, 21 cents per conversion. The top 4 is at 164 views content at 7 cents per conversion. And then the second English-speaking ad set is at 170 views content at 20 cents per conversion. The reason it sort of works this way is because I set an ad spend limit on the top 4 ad set. It's only set to spend $1 a day. And that's how I had it set on the top 5 ad set as well. So I'm capping the amount of exposure I get to these countries, even though I'm converting well in them. That way I can prioritize traffic, even though it costs a little bit more, to the bigger English-speaking countries where I want to grow. And if we go over here to the click-through rate, you can see why these results are kind of the way they are. The click-through rate for the United States is over 3%, which is great, especially compared to how I did all year last year. In the other English-speaking countries, it's 1.69%. And then in the top 4 ad set, it's 0.48, which is kind of consistent with where it was before. So this is the global breakdown of these ad sets thus far. But if we look at just this month, we can see that things are optimizing even better and costs are actually coming down from where they started. So the average for the United States was 21 cents. It is now at 18 cents per conversion for this month. We've got 6 cents for the top 4 and 14 cents, which is a huge improvement for the other English-speaking ad set. So this is the global overview of kind of what I'm running, what I'm prioritizing this year, or at least for the foreseeable future. But before we hop out of Facebook, I want to show you one other thing that has helped to bring these costs down and improve my results. So let's hop into an ad set here. We'll go to the US ad set. Now, all 3 of these ad sets and all 5 that I've run in total inside of this new growth campaign are all using a lookalike and custom audience combination. For the entirety of last year, I used 2 custom audiences and 2 lookalike audiences. Now, the custom audiences were people who had viewed content on my website, clicked a button for the past 60 or 90 days, depending on how I wanted to break it down, and then a lookalike based off of that. And then people who had viewed all of my ad videos that I was currently running for the past 60 or 90 days, depending on how I broke it down, and a lookalike based off of that. This time I'm trying something else. I'm not even looking at view content anymore. I'm not looking at conversions for retargeting. And the reason is I think that the iOS 14 stuff has sort of jumbled up some of the information that Facebook is getting, and I just feel like it's not targeting as tightly as it used to. So instead, I'm just using video views right now to test. And I'm using a smaller window of time and fewer videos. So basically what I've done is I have tightened up the feedback loop of information that I'm giving all of these ad sets. I'm using one ad in my custom audience here, Ad Vid Hero 95%, and it's within the last 30 days. So I'm only using one ad, the same ad I'm using in all these ad sets, and I'm looking at a 30-day window for my custom audience. And then I'm making a lookalike based off of that. That has tightened up these results significantly. When I first started running this in mid-December, it was kind of comparable to my old Spotify growth campaign in terms of cost and click-through and all that. But it has since beaten it out handily. And it did so by the end of the month of December, which is why I kept this running and turned the other one off. So this is what I'm testing for 2022. This is my new Spotify growth campaign. This could fly off the rails. It could perform poorly. I have no idea. In fact, we'll be throwing a whole new slew of information into this when I drop my first song of the year on January 21st. Now, before we leave off, I do plan to do a follow-up video to this video, probably within the next month to 6 weeks, where I look at the data we've gotten from this campaign so far, break it down and look at user behavior by the countries that I'm targeting to see if this is working not just on Facebook, but also translating to good data and good user engagement on Spotify. If you want to make sure you don't miss that follow-up video and you don't subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you head out. And at the end here, I've got a couple of the videos you can check out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.